Hari bulan 2
One. Sudah download?
sudah saya.
Right. Before we start, can you switch on your webcam? So, I believe you already download the past year question kan? I think dia baru upload this one yang terbaru punya. But yang terbaru ni agak susah sikit berbanding dengan final assessment yang lepas. Right. So they have this question consists 7 questions. So you need to answer the question in full scap paper. So you dalam final assessment nanti you jawab dalam kertas you sendiri, right? Kalau you ada iPad ataupun pen yang boleh tulis dalam komputer dan it's okay lah, you boleh buat terus PDF, right? Tapi kalau tak, you kena tulis sendiri dalam paper you and scan menggunakan scanner lah. Kalau you guna tangkap gambar tu, I tak nak you tangkap gambar macam sekejap I tunjuk you punya contoh. Let me pause the video, right? So we move to question number 2. Right, question number 1 kita dah discuss yesterday. Remember dalam kelas yesterday kita dah tengok how to calculate ANOVA from a given value. Right. So now let's move to this question number 2. Right. So question number 2 dia kata a study was conducted to determine the relationship between driver age and the number of accident he or she had over 3 years period. Right. So setiap dalam masa 33 tahun berapa kali accident dia kena. Right. So the data collected for 10 drivers. Right, so kita ada 10 drivers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so assuming that the driver age and number of accidents is normally distributed. So this is normally distributed. The data were analyzed and the output were indicated below. So we have this table ni, ingat tak this table apa? This is a regression table kan? Right, linear regression table. So remember dalam regression table kita ada 3 table I think. See. Output. Yes, this is output. So we're going to have correlation, model summary and coefficient, right? The 3 table. And satu lagi yang dilupa adalah ANOVA table lah. Selalu dalam regression dan ANOVA table. So now identify the predictor and response variable. Very simple. So you nampak apa variable dalam table ni? This is age kan? Age is predictor. Predictor is independent variable. Response variable is dependent variable. Right. So this is another term for independent and dependent variable. So independent variable is age. Sebab kita nampak dekat sini dah ada age. Right. So very easy to identify. Response variable is number of accident lah. Number of accident. Right. 1 mark. Very easy to get. Right. So now this one yang I tak ajar dalam lecture hari tu. So compute the Z, value of Z. Right, value of Z means that dalam lecture I ajar how to read the regression table kan. by looking at unstandardized coefficient. So we always look at unstandardized coefficient to get the equation, kan? The regression equation. So now the question asks us about the standardized coefficient. So they ask us to calculate the value of Z, the standardized coefficient for H. So standardized coefficient is beta 1 multiplied with standard deviation for X divided by standard deviation for Y. So this is a sample kan. So since dia sample, kita ambil sample standard deviation lah. Sample standard deviation for X, sample standard deviation for Y. Right. So since require a standard deviation, we already know this is 5 marks. We already know the value of coefficient, right? So this one, Z should be negative 0.216 multiply with the standard deviation. So you need to calculate the standard deviation lah. Standard deviation for X should be summation of X squared minus summation of X, and then you square divide by N, everything divided by N minus 1. Right? So you can just input the value into calculator. So kita tekan, let me open my calculator. Right, kita masukkan value dalam calculator lah. Right, this is going to be 2. Right, so kita ada X and Y. So we know that H is X. So kita masukkan lah variable 16, 24, 16, 18, 23, 27, 32, 24, 28, 21. So cukup. This is 3, 2, 5, 2, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 3. Right, you can always recheck your value dalam calculator, right? So now kita tekan shift 1, kita pergi terus ke 4, variance as X. As X means the standard deviation for driver H kan. So number 4, it should be 5.27, 5.28 lah, 5.28. So we know that this one is 5.28. So apa yang dia expect daripada you dekat sini, 5 markah kan. So dia expect you to find this standard deviation lah. So you need to input all the values dalam standard deviation ni. So this one should be summation of X, right? Kita tengok summation of X square, number 1, it should be 5495. So minus, so you just do this is for sake of marks lah. So by default you already know 229 squared divided by 10 divided by 9. So this one should be 5.28. Right, very simple. So next is SY. So summation of Y squared minus summation of Y squared divided by N, everything divided by N minus 1. So this one should be number 3. Y squared is 3. So this one is 54. 54 minus summation of Y number 4 is 18 multiplied with a power of 2 divided by 10, everything divided by 9. This one should be berapa? Oops. Number 4. SY number 7 So this is 1.55. 1.55. So you input the value here 1.55. So then you already have some standard deviation for X and standard deviation for Y. So this one you calculate lah, right? So 5.28 divide by 1.55 multiply with 0.216. Oops. 0.216 should be negative 0.735. Negative 0.735. So this is the coefficient, standardized coefficient for age, right? So the question asks you to explain the meaning, right? So to explain the meaning of standardized coefficient, right? So kita tengok dulu standardized apa unstandardized coefficient. So for unstandardized coefficient, for every so every oops 1 unit increase in x, y will decrease by negative 0.216. So this is the explanation for beta coefficient, unstandardized coefficient, right? So for standardized coefficient, right? So it explain in term of variance, right? Of or standard deviation. Sebab kita masukkan nilai dalam ni adalah nilai standard deviation. So for every so for every 1 unit increase in x, the average or variation, kita boleh kata average or variation change in y will decrease by negative 0.735. So the word is average change, right? Average change. Sebab apa decrease? Sebab the value of z is having a negative value. So ni pun sama, negative value, so that's why they decrease. Kalau dia positive means they increase lah, right? So that is how we calculate beta coefficient for standardized coefficient for beta 1. Right? Okay? So next, we continue for the next question. State the value of slope. State the value of slope, right? And interpret its meaning. So kita dah state tadi, kita dah explain kan. So slope is beta 1, right, is equal to negative 0.216. It means that for every one 1 year age increase, kita kena masukkan dalam konteks dia punya ni kan, problem. The number of accident will decrease by negative 0.216. So write down the linear regression equation of this data. Very simple. Y equal to, so our beta coefficient for intercept is 6.74. So 6.747 minus 0.216. So 1 marks. I consider this is all free marks question lah. Sebab semua soalan senang-senang kan. So predict the number of accident who age 30 years old. So y hat equal to 6.74 747 minus 0. So this is jangan lupa X kat belakang ni baru betul 0.216 multiply with 30. Right, so this one should be, kita masuk dalam calculator lah. Right, so negative 0.216 multiply with 30. Right, so 6 point, saya letak equation betul-betul, 6.747 minus, so ini kena letak kurungan lah bagi dia. So this one multiply. This one okay. So equal to 0.267. So it should be 0.267. Right. Macam tak logik je kan? Tapi that's the answer lah. Means zero lah. Dia committing, bila umur dia 30 tu, probability or the predicted number of accident is zero lah. Right? So 0.27 means equal to zero lah. So this is how you answer the question. Question number 2. Right. Okay, now let's look at ada soalan tak untuk question number 2 ni? Very simple kan? So let's look at question number 3. So a manager at one of the popular telco company is currently conducting a survey regarding the service failure at their customer service counter. Right. So kalau you boleh print the question nanti for an assessment, you print the question and you do the highlighting lah. Baru you nampak soalan-soalan apa point-point dia kan. So the main objective of this survey is to find out the factor that cause failure. We want to know the factor that cause failure. So he randomly select 5 service counter from 10 available service counter all over Malaysia. So we can put notes dekat sini. Capital N equal to 10. You select N equal to 5. So a question is distributed to all customer at the 5 selected counters. So this is, daripada sini dia distribute select all customer. Right? So among the information collected from the customer include their age, kita guna color lain pula. Their age, gender, occupation, income, rating service from 0 to 100 and service quality, poor, moderate and good. So state the population in the study. So the population in the study is all customer who purchase, all customer who, dia kata purchase ke apa ni? Who subscribe lah. Ni subscribe, kalau dia pergi counter dia subscribe lah kan. Subscribe telco company lah. Okay. Boleh lah. So I terima lah soalan jawapan macam ni. All customer who subscribe telco company in Malaysia. In Malaysia. Right. So state sampling technique used in this study. So dia ada 10 branch. Dia select 5 branch. Dan dalam setiap 5 branch tu dia select all customer. So this one should be apa? Kita ada apa? Kita tengok dia punya keyword yang paling penting dekat sini. So dia kata he select randomly. So we're going to have 5 option kat sini. Sama ada simple sampling techniques, certified sampling techniques, systematic, cluster or multi-stage. Ini yang kita belajar kan. So, which one do you think? Siti Mariam Ismail. Siti Mariam Ismail, are you here? Ada sini tak?
Dia pergi toilet, sir.
Okay. Aida Bashirah, can you answer on behalf Siti Mariam? So, which sampling technique do you think the company use to select customer ni?
Simple random sampling.
So, Siti Nurliana, do you agree with Aida Basira? Mana dia lari dah? Ada situ. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes or no? Jawapan dia. Yes. Okay, Muhammad Najmi, do you agree with these two fellas?
Yes, sir.
Yes juga. So you need to revise back your knowledge dalam chapter 1, right? This one not a simple random sampling. Very clear, right? Very clear dia state dekat sini. Dia kata first dia ada 10 branch. Dalam 10 branch tu ada ramai customer. Right? Ramai customer. So let's say this one customer N1 equal to 5,000, contoh lah. This one N2 equal to 1,000, and many ya, ada 10. Right? 10 I tak buat banyak-banyak lah. So dia select 5 saja. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Daripada 5 tu dia select all members in the branch. All customer. So what do you think?
Systematic sampling.
Cluster sampling, sir.
Yes, it's supposed to be cluster sampling. Select all members. Satu benda, satu ni saja, satu sampling method saja. Cluster sampling. Right? So you kena revise back your knowledge on ni, especially on Aida Basira, Siti Nurliana and Muhammad Najmi. Right? So now you know. I hope later you don't do this kind of mistake lagi lah. Huh? Right? So please remember. So STA 416 dah ambil? You sudah ambil STA 416? Belum? Untuk 416 tu nanti benda yang sama juga dia akan ulang. Right? Population tu apa, itu semua apa. Alright, so take note on this. It's supposed to be a cluster sampling techniques. So identify one ordinal and one ratio variable. So this is very important. So we know in our type of data, right, we have two type of data. Can Arif? Right, we have two type of data, right? Qualitative data and quantitative data. Variable. This is variable, okay? So under these two type of variable, we have 4 level of measurement. Right, we have nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So Arif, which one is categorical variable?
Boleh ulang balik tak, sir?
Which one is categorical variable for nominal, ordinal, interval or ratio?
Yang categorical ni service quality kan? Saya
Categorical
rasa
ni adalah qualitative variable lah.
service quality dengan rating of service.
No, I asking you nominal, ordinal, interval or ratio. Which one is a categorical variable? Which one lies under qualitative variable?
Qualitative, ordinal variable. Kalau quantitative, interval dengan ratio.
Yes, correct. So under qualitative, we have nominal and ordinal. Under quantitative, we have interval or ratio, right? So we know qualitative is a categorical variable, quantitative is numerical variable, right? So dia kata kat sini ordinal variable should be lies under qualitative, right? Right, qualitative is a categorical variable. Kita tak sebut lagi dia punya characteristic ordinal and differentiation between ordinal and nominal, kan? So we know that this is a quantitative, which is a categorical variable. So dalam variable ni yang disebut ni age, gender, occupation, income, rating, it should be gender, dia ada male or female, right? Occupation selalunya dia ada private, public sector ataupun self worker, kan, ataupun kata apa? Bukan self worker, apa nama tu? I tak ingat lah satu lagi term dia tu, tapi menandakan kerja sendirilah ataupun tidak bekerja, right? So income tak termasuk, rating service pun tak termasuk, service quality poor, moderate and good. So these three variable lies under qualitative variable, not ordinal, qualitative variable, which is categorical variable lah, right? So now daripada sini kita tahu tiga variable ni adalah qualitative, right? So we want to differentiate between qualitative, between nominal and ordinal. So nominal is a categorical variable that cannot be ranked. It's not in order, right? But for ordinal, is a categorical variable that can be ranked. It should be in order, right? So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, clear cut dia beritahu kat kita service quality poor, moderate, good, right? So means that it should be first poor, moderate and good. So this is service quality. Very simple, right? So next kita tengok ratio variable. Ratio lies under quantitative variable, kan? Ratio is quantitative variable, it means a numerical variable. So under this variable kita ada age, income, rating service. Right. Apa beza interval and ratio? Interval, the value of the zero value is not a true zero, okay? Remember, zero value is not a true zero, but for ratio, zero is a true zero, right? Means that when you have no money, means you have no money, RM0 lah. So it can be either it can be either income or rating. So age going to be on interval, I think, right? So this one should be either income, should be letak lah income or rating service. Right. So D, dia kata dekat sini, D, the following statistic produced from the study identify whether each statement is descriptive or inferential statistics. So 45% of sample customer work in the government sectors. So this one they describe kan. So this one going to be a descriptive statistics. Based on the sample, it can be concluded that there is an association between gender and quality service. Inferential, kita belajar banyak inferential dalam subjek ni, where we want to conclude to the population, right? From sample to population. So this is going to be inferential statistics. So we are 90% confident that average rating service of the customer falls between 60 to 90%. So this is also inferential statistics, right? When we do a calculation, more calculation dalam tu, right? We are estimating something, right, towards the population. So it's become an inferential statistics, right? Any question for this one? This one I want you as to read as many as you can dalam buku, right? Banyak kali baca, especially Noliana, Aida Bashira and Najmi, and all of you, right? So this is very important. Beberapa markah dekat sini, tak banyak pun, tapi it's give the impact lah, because this is a fundamental question for this subject, right? So as I said, dalam first lecture, kalau you tak faham this chapter, you tak faham yang lain-lain. Right? So now let's look at question number 4. Kita ada 7 soalan kan? Question number 6. Sikit saja, tak banyak pun. Okay. So kalau sempat kita habiskan 2019 as well. Alright. So depression score, the highest score, the most stress of the patient. 25 patient was selected. So this we have 25 patient was selected. Were recorded before and after they had undergone therapy. The score were analyzed to see the effectiveness of the therapy. So we have two table here: PET sample statistics and PET sample test. So this is a descriptive. This is a descriptive statistic, and this is a PET t-test. PET t-test. So dia ada bagi value kat sini X and Y. So of course you can calculate X and Y, right? So note that depressed one is representing the depression score before the patient undergo a therapy. Depressed 2 maybe they after they undergo to the therapy, right? The higher score of depression means that the severity of the depression condition lah. So we can see that from the mean dekat statistics ni, kita tengok dekat sini. Sebelum kita jawab kita tengok dulu data dia. Depression 1 42.5. Depression 2 is 41.3. So maksudnya selepas dia masuk dalam terapi tu, dia punya depression score tu kurang sikit. So we want to know, mungkinlah kita tak baca soalan lagi kan. We want to know dalam soalan ni, dalam data ni, mungkin kita nak tahu adakah masuk terapi tu dia improve dia punya depression score. Maksudnya depression score lagi rendah lah. Kalau tinggi, maksudnya teruk lah, dia tak improve kan. So assuming that the depression score is normally distributed, right? Betul, soalan ni pun salah juga, right? Kalau dia nak buat t-test, sepatutnya dia kena kata different depression score tu normally distributed, different of depression score, right? Kalau depression score, each depression score normally distributed, dia bukan part of the assumption of this test. So find the value of X and Y. So X and Y, X is a mean different. mean difference. Right, so X supposed to be depression 1 minus depression 2. So 42.56 minus 41.36. Right? Boleh? And then standard deviation here, and standard error of the mean is Y. So if you're not sure, sekarang ni you're not sure, you boleh balik tengok dia punya nota. Nota dekat chapter 3 I think. Chapter 4. So kita tengok balik dia punya dependent sample. So macam mana calculate each value ni calculated. I think standard mean divided by standard deviation, right? Divided by square root of n. So we will get the standard error. This is chi-squared of independent. Now this is before chi-squared is paired sample t-test, right? Nampak tak? Standard error of the mean is came from the mean different divided by standard deviation divided by square root of n. Right? Standard deviation divided by square root of n. Standard deviation of the difference. Right? So now we know to calculate y, right? Y ini adalah standard deviation of the difference divided by square root of n. So y should be tiga markah, senang saja. 2.121 divided by square root of 25. So you dapat dia letak answer lah kat sini. Okay. Boleh Right, good. So soalan ni semua senang-senang dalam final assessment. Right. And I don't think you can fail this subject lah. You should pass this subject. State, this is 1 mark. 1 mark. Kita tengok padanan soalan tu. State 95% confident interval for the mean depression. So 95% confident interval dia dah bagi kat sini. Right. So this is 95% confident interval. You need to know how to read this one. So this is from 0.324 until 2.076. So this is not significant lah. This is significant lah. Because it does not include zero dalam interval. Right. So kalau kita tengok, kalau dia tak bagi this one kan, p-value dia tak bagi, t-test pun dia tak bagi, degree of freedom pun dia tak bagi, but they only give you confident interval. Let's say lah kan. So you tengok dalam confident interval ya, dalam interval ni, if zero are included dalam interval ni, means that they are not significant. The p-value going to be more than 0.05. Means that we're going to reject alternative hypothesis, we're going to accept null hypothesis. If the zero value is included, is included lah. Kalau yang tadi cakap tu is included, means that they are not significant lah. Kalau dia tak included, maksudnya zero ni kat luar, maksudnya dia p-value will less than 0.05, we will reject null hypothesis and we accept alternative hypothesis. That's the relationship between p-value and the confidence interval. So based on the confidence interval B, can it be concluded that the therapy is effective? So since confidence interval does not include zero, we can conclude that the therapy is effective. Right? If the confidence interval includes zero, right, then the therapy was not effective lah. Alright. So question number 5. Sudah ha? Okay, ada soalan tak ke? Tak ada soalan. Right, now look at example question number 5. So a study has been made to compare average amount of sugar content for two brands energy drinks. So we have drink P and drink Q. So 10 energy drinks was selected for brand P and 8 energy brand for brand Q were selected for brand Q lah. So we know this is a descriptive statistical table. This is a descriptive statistics. Alright. And then we have independent sample t-test. Remember dalam orientation dalam SPSS dia selalunya white presentation lah kan, but dia transform to long presentation ke bawah, benda yang sama saja. So determine whether the variance of the amount sugar for two brands are equal. So kita letak daripada mula null hypothesis, the variance are equal. Alternative hypothesis, the variance are not equal. So alpha 0.05, p-value, right? P-value for Levin's test. Levin's test for equality, right? Significant 0.16. So this one is 0.160. So since our decision rule, since the p-value is more than our alpha 0.05, null hypothesis is accepted. So conclusion, the variance for both group are equal. So 3 marks. Boleh? Since the variance are equal, we're going to focus on the first table. Variance, equal variance, assume. We're going to focus on the first table. Yang second table ni kita ignore. Right, sebab kita punya conclusion, variance are equal. So now, assume the sugar content is normally distributed, right? So this one correct statement. Yang tadi tu tak betul. Yang tadi ni, soalan ni sepatutnya the difference score of depression is normally distributed. Right. If the claim, if it is claimed that the energy drink P has less amount of sugar than drink Q. So what is the hypothesis here? So ini tekan ni right. The hypothesis, null hypothesis, mu1 equal mu P equal to mu Q. Right. Alternative hypothesis, mu P is less than mu Q. Right. So satu lagi kita boleh buat yang standardized punya, mu P minus mu Q equal to 0. And then mu, and alternative hypothesis, mu P minus mu q less than 0. So this is the hypothesis statement. So our alpha is 0.05, right? So test statistics. So dia kata kat sini conduct a hypothesis testing. Right, conduct a hypothesis testing to claim for this claim lah. So we can use either using a p-value ataupun using t-distribution, right? So let's use t-distribution, test statistic, right? So t is equal to negative 0.131, right? Betul? So our degree of freedom is 16. So critical region. So remember, this is a t distribution. T distribution is look like a normal distribution, right? With x bar here, x bar is equal to 0, and it's one negative infinity to infinity. So since we are looking into the left hand side, right, left hand side, so this is the area that we want to find. So this is rejection area, and this is acceptance area, right? Boleh? So now what is this value? So this is t alpha with degree of freedom. Dia tak divide by 2 sebab kita one tail test. One tail test not divide by 2. So this one should be t 0.05 with 16 degree of freedom. So now we can tengok T distribution lah, statistical table. So dalam test nanti, make sure you have your statistical table lah. Kalau you boleh, you print siap-siap. Tapi jangan print semua. Print yang important kita belajar. Normal, lagi ni lah, nombor 3, nombor 4, nombor 7, nombor 8, nombor 9. Table 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 5 table saja. Tak payah print semua. Print sikit je. So kita tengok table T distribution. This is normal, and then we look at T. So T distribution, degree of freedom 16, and the alpha is 0.05. So the value is 1.746. So negative, so this is the negative part kan, negative 1.746, is it? Yeah. So our decision, since T calculated dekat mana? 0.131 dekat sini lah. Negative 0.131, right? Dia dalam acceptance area kan. Since T calculated falls inside acceptance region, null hypothesis is accepted, right? Null hypothesis is accepted. So we can say that the conclusion, the value of dia kata the energy drain, apa dia kata, amount of sugar ke? Sugar content brand P and Q are equal, right? Are equal based on our Ni. So there are no difference between P and Q. Sugar content in brand P and Q. Boleh? So this is only 4 marks. So buat macam ni pun okay. Kalau you nak guna P value, macam mana? So you cannot use this one to tell. So this is the old SPSS. I hope the lecturers yang buat soalan dekat you ni menggunakan the newer version. The newer version contain another value which is one tail, right? So senang you pakai one tail terus. So ini to P value for this method is 0.897 divided by 2 lah. So you need to divide by 2 to get one tail, right? So sama dengan berapa? 0.897 divided by 2. So it should be 0.4485. So still they're more than 0.05. We're going to accept null hypothesis lah. It's the same procedure. So the best way, you can choose either one lah. Dua-dua ni dapat 4 markah, right? Kalau you guna P value pun dapat 4 markah, guna this one pun 4 markah, right? So now let's look at question number 6. Right. So there is an increasing trend on purchasing the laptop due to pandemic 2019, right? Iyalah, not only laptop, iPad pun habis, right? Last year I nak beli iPad pun tak ada. Here's a group of researchers intend to describe this scenario using a descriptive statistic. SPSS output will illustrating the information on the number of purchasing laptop in a month according to 15 states in Malaysia. Okay, ini the website malaysia.gov.my. District marks the membership of 13 state and a federal territory lah. So maksudnya kita ada 14 negeri saja. 13 negeri, satu wilayah. Right? So this question is wrong question lah. Negara mana kita tahu. Right? So but I don't know. But this is from malaysia.gov.my. So this is official and this is I assume this is wrong question lah. Di negara mana I tak tahu lah. Mungkin dia try to copy a question from books, dia tertukar kepada Malaysia. This is not a very good attitude to write a question, right? So assume the number of laptop purchased in month is normally distributed. So we have 15, valid 15, or mungkin I think soalan ni dia based on Wikipedia lah. I think dia kata 11 state and they combine with 3 federal territories, Labuan, Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur, right? KL. So 3 wilayah, 11 states, so they become 15. Right? I think the question is referring to that point lah. So I tulis kat sini lah 15 state. Walaupun dalam gov.my dia kata 14, but this one is dia kata maybe 11 state. But we have 13 state, right? 3 wilayah. I think soalan ni merapu lah. 15 tak mungkin. Right? Tak boleh, kalau I nak assume macam tu pun tak boleh masuk akal. Sebab we have 13 state. Right? 13 state including Sabah and Sarawak. Right, 3 wilayah persekutuan, but in government Malaysia, the GOV say that wilayah only one. Right. So soalan ni, kalau you dapat jenis soalan ni, you nak pangkal kata soalan salah pun okay, you dapat bonus mark. Right. Soalan ni salah. Okay. Now, tapi tak apa, kita try jawab. Walaupun soalan ni salah, kita try jawab. You jangan pangkal semua macam saya cakap tadi. Mungkin you akan hilang markah. Right. So you jawab saja, bagi you dapat markah. Alright, so calculate the mean and standard deviation for this study. So mean, alright, so dalam table ni dia bagi kita the value of n. This is mode, right? And this is variance, standard s square. This is max x. This is this is mean x. This is max x, and this is a total of x. This is quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. Right? So calculate mean and standard deviation. So mean is equal to summation of x divided by n. So this is going to be 7180 divided by 15. So it's supposed to be 7180 divided by 15. So 478.67. 478.67. Right? And standard deviation is equal to square root of variance. So square root of our variance here is 20,000. 36.095 is supposed to be square root of 20036.095. So 141.55. 141.55. So 2 marks. Say the median value in this study and interpret the value. So median is quartile 2. Quartile 2 is also equal to median is equal to 492. So we can interpret that 50% of the data is less than, this is data about what? Number of purchase laptop lah. Less than 492, while another 50% of the data is more than 492. Right? So construct a box and whisker plot for the above study. For box and whisker plot, we need to have 5 value, right? Which is a minimum, maximum, quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. So 1 mark. So dia kata 2 marks. Construct. Construct means actually tak perlu graph paper, okay? Kalau dia kata draw, and then you need to have a graph paper. So you just need to construct. So ada satu line dekat bawah. This is from the minimum value is 200. The maximum value is 723. So this is minimum and maximum. Quarter 1 is 300. 355, 59. So it's supposed to be here lah. 359, and then 600 is supposed to be here. This is a max quarter number 3. This is minimum. Quarter 1, quarter 3, maximum. Right? And then quarter number 2, we need to find the difference lah. So quarter number 2, 492 minus 359 is supposed to be 133, and 600 minus 492 is 108. So maksudnya dia lebih kurang dekat sini lah. Right? Dekat sini. This is 492. This is quarter 2. Sebab dia punya jarak dia kecil berbanding jarak ni lah kan. So what we need to do now is try to connect the point. So this is the box, right, the rectangle, right, and this is the whisker, and this is the quarter number 2. So this is a box and whisker plot. So based on the plot C, describe the shape of distribution. So since the area on the left hand side is bigger than area on the right hand side, so we can see that a negative skewed distribution. Right, very simple, 1 mark. If researcher wish to describe the shape of distribution by using appropriate measurement, describe which descriptive measure would you suggest? Descriptive measure is Pearson skewness kan? Yeah, skewness. Pearson skewness of Pearson coefficient of skewness. Pearson coefficient of skewness. Right, so dia ada dua formula kan, ingat lah? Dalam chapter number 2 we have two formula by using median and with the mean. Yeah, using median and mode. Right, so last question. So lagi 4 minit very simple. Last question, a dairy products factory wants to know the milk flavor preferred by buyers. The researcher randomly selected several supermarket visitor and conducted an experiment. A buyer were given 3 cups of milk with different flavor to drink. After that, they were asked to choose one flavor that are preferred most. So we have 3 cup of milk, two gender lah, male and female. So now find the value of M. So M, this one kita nampak dekat sini, count and expected count. Right, M is expected count. So expected count is row total multiply with column total divide by grand total. So this one should be row total is 22, right, this one. Column total is 20, grand total is 63. So this one should be 2 markah. Sangat senang untuk dapatkan markah. So this one should be 6.9841. Tapi dia semua satu point je kan. 98 okay lah. We stop at 98. Alright. Okay, calculate the chi-square statistic value for this study. It is a bit difficult. So kita look at the form, the notes that we have. So how to calculate the chi-square? Chi-square is calculated by summation of observed minus expected square divided by expected. Right? So chi-square is summation of observed minus expected square divided by expected. So what you need to do is you need to cari difference dekat sini, right? So 9 minus 9 minus 9.6, so 9 minus 9.1, sorry, divided by expected is 9.1 plus 6 minus 6.98 square divided by 6.98. So the last for this one is 7 minus 5.9 square divided by 5.9 plus 17 minus 16.9 square divided by 16.9, and next is 14 minus 13 square divided by 13 plus 10 minus 11.1 square divided by 11.1. So can you do a calculation? Ya, kita buat bagi sikit lah, lagi 3 soalan. Ni siap ni dah habis lah. You kira, tengok, bagi cepat sikit kira sendiri. Kalau you dah dapat, bagi tahu. So, I dapat 0.53. Do you get the same thing, the same answer? Okay, I salah kira. 0.5303. So, this is the answer for question B. You need to recheck this one. I input the calculator in case I wrongly input the value dan I dapat value salah lah. So, based on, dapat yang sama? Dapat sama? So you need to recalculate this one to confirm the result, the answer, right? So at 10% significant level, what can you conclude about relationship between two variables, right? So null hypothesis, there are no association between gender and apa ni? And flavor. The alternative hypothesis, there are association between gender and flavor. So alpha 0.10. So chi-squared calculated is 0.5303. Right? So critical region. Right? Critical region. So you need to do this one, this graph. So we are looking into this point. This is acceptance region. This is a rejection region. So the critical value here is chi-squared 0.10, right? So alpha is 0.10, 0.10. With degree of freedom. Degree of freedom here for chi-squared is number of row minus 1 multiplied with number of column minus 1. So row minus 1 is 1. 1 multiplied with 2. So equal to 2. So 2. So you pergi ke chi-squared table. Where is chi-squared table? Right, chi-squared. Kita tengok chi-squared very fast. Yep, this is a chi-squared. Okay. Chi-squared 0.10 alpha. This is alpha. 0.10 is here. And the degree of freedom is 4.605. So equal to 4.605. So this is 4.605. So since the decision rule, since chi-squared calculated is less than 4.605 ataupun falls in acceptance area. So null hypothesis is accepted. So we can say that, we can conclude that there are no relationship. There are no relationship between gender and flavor. Between gender and flavor. Right. If the variable are measured in ratio, can chi-squared test of independence be used? Can it be used? Yes. Because what? Because of the chi-squared distribution is for categorical variable, right? 1 mark. Okay? Ada soalan? So tadi tu 4 markah, banyak soalan kerja lah. Okay, so dalam 1 jam kita boleh siap 7 soalan. Right? So 2 jam you ada, 1 jam untuk siapkan soalan, siapkan jawapan, lagi 1 jam untuk check jawapan you balik. Boleh? So provided bila you sebelum masuk final assessment or masuk test, you dah buat banyak soalan lah. Right? Bukan senang. Right? You kena practice more and jawab dalam final exam. Right? Ada soalan tak before we end our session? So before